You are only capable of taking on the world when you dare to be yourself. Well, this is just one of the many inspirational quotes contained in our guest author's book. Her name is Beverley Danai Mushayi, and she has released a book titled The Authentic You. Take the mask off and discover the power of your being true self. Beverley joins us now via Zoom to help us unpack this book and why she says motivating and encouraging has always been something she was meant to be. Beverley, a very good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to Morning Live.
Good morning to you too, Cynthia. Good morning to our viewers. Thank you for having me.
It's lovely having you on the show this morning, Beverley. First of all, tell us about the book and what it's about and what influenced you to write it.
Well, first of all, I focus on 4 dimensions in the book. I start by addressing what it is to be authentic, what it means. And the second dimension is what is hindering our young people, especially I wrote it, by the way, focusing mainly on the young people. What is it that is hindering them from being the authentic self that you are supposed to be? And the third dimension is what you should do to be authentic. The last one is why you should be authentic. And when I wrote this book, I remember when I was doing my research, I saw that there's amazingly, a lot of us are just going out of our ways because of social media. I mean, I don't understand why people have to focus on the fake side of life, because no one posts their own true, faults, their own flaws on social media. Yet that's what we choose to focus on. So I felt the urge and the urgency of writing this book so that I drive the message to the young people that you are enough. God decided to make you for a specific reason, so you should focus on that.
Beverley, I suppose that this phenomenon called fear features quite prominently in this book as one of the factors that stand in an individual's way of being their authentic selves, yeah? Tell us more about this.
Yeah. Fear. So there is the problem when it comes to fear. People are afraid of what other people are going to think. People are afraid of what other people are going to say about them. People are afraid that, wow, what if I actually jump and fly? We are often afraid of our own light, and we are often afraid, like underestimating God's, capabilities through us. So that is the major reason why I had to feature it a lot, because it comes from fear.
Okay. Now, take us through the process one has to undergo in order to start repackaging themselves in the best way possible.
So you have to visit the younger child or the younger version of you, because oftentimes when we are growing up, we are shaped by the things we go through from a young age.
Yes.
So if you grow up in a society that is judgmental, in a society that is not allowing of you to be yourself, oftentimes you are tempted to say, okay, I think I cannot be myself here because nobody is going to appreciate me anyway. So I'm going to go by what everyone is, supposedly thinking that is normal for me. So you have to revisit the younger child of you. You make peace with it. You make peace with inevitables. I mentioned that in my book. Inevitables like criticism, you cannot avoid that. You make peace with all those things, and then you move forward. So you have to visit that first in order for you to move forward.
As you were going about digging through voluminous amounts of research before writing this book, what are some of the clues or the hints, perhaps, that you stumbled upon, that you say are some of the elements and the qualities that hinder us from being the best versions of ourselves?
Oh, greatly. That's a very, very important question. So some of the things that I just discovered were, the first thing is social media. It is hindering people, a lot of us actually, from being the authentic self that we are supposed to be, because it's selling us dreams that are not realistic. And I actually talk about at the end of the book about some of our stars. I call them stars because they are bold enough to speak authentically about themselves. If I'm to mention one, I'll talk about Leonce Lesego. I respect her so much for being herself. And I also discovered that it is, we are focusing, ever since the introduction of smartphones, actually the innovation of smartphones, there has been a highest rate of depression, suicidal thoughts, and a whole lot of things. So the number one fuel is social media, alongside obviously some of the things like your upbringing, poverty, and lack of education. You feel like you're not enough, you're not educated, so you can't share part of yourself with the world.
Sure.
You feel like you're disabled, so you cannot be seen as a normal human being, which is not true. So it is very, very important that people understand that you are enough, disabled or not, male or female, young or old. You can do this, what you were destined to do.
And in the book, you also share some recommendations of people that have helped you awaken your authenticity, isn't it? Do share some of those with us.
I follow the Australian-American Nick, if I'm to say his name correctly, Nick Bujetic. I stand to be corrected. And I follow Lesego Leonte, as she is better known. I also follow our very own Zimbabwean. She was born, she is Sinikiwe. And I follow a couple of those people that actually, motivated me. The reason is because I always say to people, surround yourself with things that are going to help you grow, because I advocate for personal development and I advocate for authenticity. So follow people that are going to grow with you, that are going to help you grow rather, because they advocate themselves for authenticity. This is why I recommended Thick Leonte. She is proud of her body. She is not ashamed. You gotta love her, or you just be a hater, but that's not going to stop her.
You know, Beverley, I absolutely love your positive outlook and positive mindset. And I know that whosoever will be reading this book, that will rub off on them. And whosoever hangs around you, perhaps, it'll rub off on them, no doubt about that. And what advice do you normally give to people that currently feel like giving up on themselves?
I come from a Christian background, and I'll tell you this boldly and confidently. God did not design you for failure.
Wow.
You better stick that in, because the world is waiting for you. The world is waiting for something you have not yet shared with it. Do not die before we meet you.
Wow, that is absolutely astounding. And the fact that each and every one of us needs to discover their sense of purpose. You know, once you've discovered that, it has a positive, attribute or positive impact on how you view life and how you view people and the kind of influence that you have on other people. So where do we get a copy of this book?
You get a copy of this book directly from me. You can DM me on my personal number, 067-895-6266. 067-895-6266. You can also find me on my social media platforms. On LinkedIn, it's Beverley Danai Mushayi. On Facebook, Beverley Danai Mushayi. On Instagram, it's Beverley Danai Mushayi. But we are also bringing this training to incorporate authentic image for corporate. So we are doing this with my business partner, Joel Gombera. You can also get hold of me on the social media platforms if you would like to know more about that.
Okay, all right. Lovely chatting to you, Beverley. Thank you so much for having come up with such a masterpiece. And I quite like, and speaking of masterpieces, I quite like that line that you made where you say, remember, your life is your artistic masterpiece. You only have to keep up with your rhythm. Lovely stuff.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Victor. Thank you so much. Have a great day now. Cool.
Thank you, you too.
All right, that was our guest author this morning, Beverley Danai Mushayi, and we're just in conversation with her about her latest book titled The Authentic You.